Is President Donald Trump back in this race against Joe Biden? Recent polling certainly leads me to believe that he is at least getting there. Specifically, two recent post-Republican National Convention polls conducted by Morning Consult and YouGov. They only have Biden +6 nationwide. Obviously, this is still a substantial lead, but both polls had Biden up in double digits in previous editions. That is a pretty big drop. That being said, I truly believe that unless the pandemic is brought under control and the economy promptly begins to rebound, Trump doesn't have a very realistic chance. The question in today's video, though, is if Trump does slowly creep back into this race on a national scale, what would that look like on an election map? Here on your screen is the map I analyzed in yesterday's video, so if you haven't already, go check that out. It's essentially the 2020 polling average map, according to 538, but adjusted based on how polls shifted in 2016. But right now, I will give you a second to pause the video and click on the link in the top right of your screen right now before I get started with this new map. Okay, now that you're hopefully all caught up, if President Trump is able to bring Joe Biden's current 538 average from 8.5 points down to around 4 to 5 points, there is one state that I would immediately move into Trump's column, and that is Texas. Trump won Texas by 9 points in 2016 and should be expected to win again in 2020, just by a much lower margin, which is ultimately going to depend on voter turnout. However, I would argue that if Biden's lead is still around 8 to 10 points on Election Day, Texas could very well be a complete toss-up, as we see in polling there right now. But in this scenario, where Trump gets his approvals back to a more respectable number, and head-to-head with Biden nationally, he trails by just 4 to 5 points, he will definitely win Texas. As for the states that would be toss-ups in a 4 to 5 point popular vote victory for Biden, at the top of that list is Arizona, which is a historically conservative state that Trump won by 3.5 points in 2016. Biden right now is currently +4 according to 538, and it's no secret that the state is undergoing a rapid shift to the left politically and demographically, but it hasn't been won by a Democrat since 1996. Dismissing it as a state that Biden is sure to win purely based on the 2018 midterms and unproven polls and demographics is dangerous. And joining Arizona in the toss-up column as well is Florida and its crucial 29 electoral votes. Biden is +5 right now, but the accuracy of that is up for debate, given that Florida does tend to vote for incumbents and is basically guaranteed to be within 2 points on election night no matter who ends up winning. Donald Trump did win by 1.2 points in 2016 and outperformed most polls conducted in Florida, despite the sheer amount of resources the Clinton campaign devoted to winning there. Nevertheless, losing Arizona and Florida along with Texas means that Biden is below the 270 mark at 268. So all Trump would need to do is flip the toss-ups of Arizona and Florida back in his column to win the Electoral College by just 2 votes, 270 to 268. So if you're a Biden supporter, the scary thing is that this really isn't out of the realm of possibility. And this is with Minnesota, Michigan, and Pennsylvania still being won by the former vice president. However, if we see a continued trend towards Trump nationally, that will probably also be the case in swing state polls. So we will get a better understanding in the coming weeks of whether or not this was all just a post-RNC bump. And the overarching point of this video was to emphasize how close this election is going to be and remind you all that the chances of us seeing a pure Biden blowout and a Democratic wave across the board isn't as likely as summer polling has suggested. Even Nate Silver from 538 expects the race to tighten and is including it in his calculations for his forecast. And September is usually an extremely telling month in terms of what ultimately happens in the election, so keep an eye out for swing state numbers in the coming month before the first debate on September 29th. But that does it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. please make sure to like the video down below, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out more content on my channel here. Thank you all so much for watching, and tune in next time. EP out.